Alright, you're sick of graphing. I get it. I get it. So now we're going to actually have you identify the graph of the given graph, okay? So I'm always going to give you guys the format that I want the answer in. That means you need to find the A, the amplitude, and if there was any, a phase shift. You'll see why I need to indicate that for you, alright? So let's look at this graph. Okay, you're right. It could be a sine graph if you start here, or it could be a cosine graph if you start here. But you can see that there was a phase shift vertical up and down. Huh? I mean, it's not a phase shift, a vertical shift up and down, huh? So let's actually identify that first. Because I want it to be a cosine graph. That means it either has to start from the max or the min. Okay? Alright, so let's actually look. You guys, look at the min. Isn't the min 0? And what's the max? The max is 8. Okay? That means we should actually figure out what's the midline, right? So let's do the midline first. I feel like that makes the sense most, okay? So let's find the midline. Isn't the midline D equals, right? Like Y equals D, right? Where is that? Isn't it actually just max plus your min over 2? So D equals 4. Let's go up. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's actually go ahead and draw that line. And now it's pretty clear that this is the midline. And now we can actually calculate the amplitude. We can count if you want to. But let's do the first step here formally. Amplitude, which is A, which is max minus min over 2. We don't need these corny equations though. We know that amplitude is the distance from 4 to our max. So 4 to max, 4 to 4 is going to be, you're right, it's 4. Let's make sure though. From 4 to 0, what's that distance? It's 4, 2. So our amplitude is 4. Let's go to 2. So we already have our D. Okay, we have our D, which is 4. And our amplitude is also 4. And let's do our period now. Now, isn't period 2 pi over B? Okay, but what's our B? Our B is 1, huh? So really it's 2 pi over 1, isn't it? So, right? Is that right? Okay, because there was no phase shift, right? So you guys, our period is done. It's 2 pi, okay? But now it's 2 pi, I get that. But let's analyze this graph a little bit. Now this is 12.56, all the way from here, okay? So the fourth tick was 12.56. And now we should recognize that this is about 4 pi. That means each of these guys must be pi, huh? Negative pi, negative 2 pi, negative 3 pi, negative 4 pi. Okay, we should recognize that, okay? Now what we're going to do is this. Okay, so we know that there is no phase shift. That means it started at 0. Well, if it's a cosine graph, why did it start? Oh, it started at the minimum. What does that tell us about our A? It must be negative 4. Cosine, our B is 1, so it's going to be x, right? Plus 4, our D is 4. Okay? You guys, if period equals 2 pi over B, what's B? B is also equal to period, 2 pi over period. And that's how we should have done it actually. Look, don't we find a period from pi over pi to pi? What's pi to pi? That's 2 pi, isn't it? That's why we knew this guy had a period of 2 pi. How about from min to min? How did you get from 2 pi to 0? You travel 2 pi distance. That's how you calculate period, okay? So here's that. Let's try number 69 now. Find A, B, C to write a function f of x equals A sine bx minus c to represent this function. Okay, a couple of things to notice here. You know 6.28 is about 2 pi, okay? Just keep that in mind, all right? And this is a sine graph. That means we start at the 0 or the mid, okay? All right, let's also do amplitude first. So A, first step is always the amplitude. Is amplitude just 1? Because there was no phase shift. I'm giving you this, right? There's no D here that I added, so amplitude is 1. Second, let's do period. And period is 2 pi. Let's check. Okay, period is 2 pi. Are you sure? Let's check, okay? Period is 2 pi. Let's check. So period is 2 pi. Let's check. So let's go from math. We could go from, I don't know, 0 to 0. And I know you're going to complain to me that this is hard to say, but 1, 2, 3, 4 is 2 pi, right? That means this guy must be pi. That means this guy must be pi over 2. This guy must be 3 pi over 2. And this guy is 4 pi, negative pi over 2. So make that kind of assumption on your own, okay? All right. But you know, I mean, there's so much you can do. What if I want to go from here to the next time it hits that, okay? Or anywhere. Like, how about from negative pi? How about negative pi? And now where do I come across that again? right? Where do I come across that again? It's about right here somewhere. So like this. That completes one cycle. Because it's coming down, not here because it's the same position, but you remember how it always has two values that it reaches it at, but it's here. So what is that? It went from negative pi to pi, so that's how we know our period is 2 pi. We could even go from max to max, but it's harder to tell here because there's no specific coordinate here. So that's 2 pi over b, right? B, okay? Our period is 2 pi, but b. So we need to calculate b. B is 2 pi over our period. What's our period? 2 pi. So our b must be 1. Okay? Our b is equal to 1. Let's go to the third step. Bx minus c. Bx minus c equals 0. Okay? Well, what's our b? B is 1. Okay? B is 1. What's our c? Which will indicate our phase shift, right? Well, let's look. This is a sine graph, right? So didn't it shift half of pi over 2? Or even to the left, isn't it half of pi over 2 that it actually started? Because our 0, right? Where are we starting? It's about like right here, right? Our 0 is here. So it moved halfway between 0 and pi over 2. So we can assume that our x minus c, I'm trying to figure out the easiest way to explain this. This could also be written as this, right, guys? Bx minus c over b is equal to 0. Our b is 1, so it's going to be x minus c over b is equal to 0. X equals c over b, right? Okay? But what's our b? Our b is 1. So, wait a second. What's the easiest way? What's the easiest way to explain this? Bx minus c is equal to 0. So b is 1, x minus c over b. Okay, we could do it this way. But you guys, wasn't there a phase shift of pi over 4? That's the way to think about it. So you guys, doesn't this indicate the phase shift? So c over b has to equal pi over 4 because there's a phase shift of right pi over 4. Of course, you and I could have a different equation actually if you move the other way. But we'll talk about that when I return. Okay? And you know that b is 1, so c over 1 is pi over 4. So our c is pi over 4. Okay, so here's our grand equation. Y is equal to a, which was 1, and you know that it started from the minimum and it went up first. So we know it's going to be positive 1 sine x bx, which is 1, minus, I'll write the 1 here for now, and it's pi over 4, which was our phase shift. All right, good luck. This is a little bit tricky, but I think you're going to be okay. All right, practice. Bye. Hi, Sammy. Thanks for coming back. Yeah. I just finished the last section. Oh my god, these lessons are so long, so the videos run so long.
I tried watching the video about the homework from 4.2. It was like 37 to 42 or something.
I think so,
Like, it didn't work in YouTube.
Really?
Yeah, it was like, you come on, then you still like stop, and then it's
4.2? Oh my god, are you serious?
homework, like, there's a video where you go over, like, problems.
Oh my gosh, I'm so worried now. How come no one told me? That's the day I wasn't here, right?
I think, yeah. So I couldn't watch it last time, so I tried to
Yeah, sure. Let's go over it. What? 37 to 42, right?
Hello! Hi guys. Okay, sun means the opposite. The Y
So you could ask me. But it's working.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
is
It's
linked to
okay.
you guys.
Okay, but I'm glad you're here. Okay, that's fine. Uh-oh. Where's the movie? Oh no. Oh, I